Hello, guys. I hope you've had a good day. Um, Today, I want to talk on the topic of um, becoming what you think you want to be. Okay, so there are a lot of people that pick what they want to be and they bring it forth in the world, right? Somebody wants to be a teacher, he becomes a teacher. Somebody wants to be an entertainer, becomes an entertainer. Somebody wants to be a math guy, he becomes a math guy. But the problem is when we do these things in an unconscious way. Okay, so let's say depends on music and movies, right? A young person watches a movie, plays a video game, or something that gives that person an identity to pursue. So the kid or the young man, the teenager, decides he wants to become what he sees, in what he hears in the music and all that stuff. Where I live, a lot of people like to follow certain, well, everywhere, but like to follow certain music types that sell an identity that is not healthy for 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 dealing with the day-to-day life in the world. Okay, and maybe, yeah, and it's in a lot of places. Okay, with different music, with different, it's not just one type of music, are different types of music, different types of movies. um they implant this. Okay, like for example, if you're playing video games and you play a criminal story video game, some, I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying that some will choose that way of living. And if it's a criminal story video game and the person hears the music and has persons around them that hear that music, that are in that culture, that person picks the identity and chooses it unconsciously, unless somebody else shows him another path, another identity, like studying and becoming um, a professional in any area, and they buy into another story. Or let's say, for example, even stuff like other music and other movies. For example, when Top Gun came out, I haven't searched this, but I was told that a lot of people wanted to join um, the armed forces, right? To fly planes, fly jets, and all that stuff. And yeah, that's and maybe somebody that had 13 years or 12 years decided, I want to be that, and the direction of that person's life, the identity just guided them there. And we have a lot of different influences, right? Some we pick, some we mature and we see how dumb they are, and some just go unconscious, especially for young people that are 27, 28. They don't fall a lot for these things. Some do, but youngsters are the ones that are most affected by this. um so yeah, so what I would say is, if you're a young person, a young man, a young woman, see what um identity you have chosen. Okay, see what identity you have chosen, what brings you value, what makes you feel important, because that's the place where the problem is, and maybe sometimes the solution too, in what identity you have picked up. Okay, and I say it a lot to people that have decided to live a dark life. They have chosen those identities, but with, at least with knowing that you choose it, and that you had options, that's gonna help you see the options you have now. Okay, because you're not, it's not forever. You just picked something and you worked at it, but you can work in other places, in other things, in other identities. And this is not to be the best in something or to be a great whatever and whatever. What I mean is living a peaceful, fulfilling life. That's all I'm saying. Choosing an identity consciously, okay? And choosing a good identity, choosing an identity that brings peace, that brings fulfillment, that brings happiness and tranquility to all the people around you and your circle, and of course everybody you get in touch. But do that. Search what identity you have picked. See if you have to change your trajectory, and if you can do it. And if you don't want to hear it, you don't want to do it, I say just think about it. Think about your identity and what it's bringing you, and if you have to change. And I hope you can change. So that's my message for today. See you later. Goodbye.